Well, hello, Benjies. Welcome to the BingeWorthy podcast, part of the Geekish Network. I am just one of your hosts. My name is Johnny Randolph, or you can just call me Randy. And I am a speaker, trainer, and a podcaster. And I've got some of the best co-host in all of entertainment. My first co-host, she is an actress, a writer, a director. I call her a superstar. Say what's up to the people, Miss Courtney Scott, right?
Hey, how y'all doing?
And my next co-host, he is also an actor and a writer. I call him the Game Spitter because every day, right here on Geek Beast, and every Wednesday on the Binge-Worthy podcast, you can catch my man spitting that fire. Say what's up to the people, Centel.
The champ is here. The champ is here. No. Let me stop. I pale in comparison to the greatest of my amazing co-hosts. Just happy to be here, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, and we are the Binge-Worthy podcast. How's everybody doing tonight?
Well,
I
mean,
all right. So we gonna jump right into it. The premise of the Binge-Worthy podcast is that every week we will binge watch a television series, and then we come right here on our program to evaluate that series based on our unique binge-worthy scale. We will rate the show at the beginning, and then we engage in some scintillating and captivating conversation. And then after that conversation, we re-rate it. And in that re-rate, it might be that some of our co-hosts have influenced us to change our original rating. Speaking of rating, our scale is as followed. At a number 5, it is a full binge out. That means this property is outstanding. It's awesome. It is one of those shows that you will watch in 1 or 2 sessions. At a number 4 is a full meal. A full meal, while not quite a binge out, it is definitely worth your time to watch this property. At a number 3, we call it a mini meal. A mini meal isn't good. It's not bad. It's just kind of, Courtney always describes it as a TV dinner. At a number 2 is a snack. And a snack is just one of them shows you watching because, quite frankly, there ain't shit else on. You kind of hate watch it. You're looking at your phone as you're surfing through it. You might be reading a book. You could be doing a plethora of other things than really focusing on this show. And at a number 1, we call it a cringe-worthy. And a cringe-worthy means this is just some old bullshit. And I wouldn't encourage anybody that I know and respect to watch this. All right? So tonight, we are going to be evaluating Super Crooks. And Super Crooks, the premise of the show is small-time crook Johnny Boat recruits a team of 8 supervillains, and I use that word very loosely, supervillains, to perform a superpower heist in Japan.
Super Fools is more likely. Super Fools. Fools should be the blaxploitation version of this show. I'm gonna create a show.
It's already the peer. No, we're not. I'm not going to go there. So we're gonna start off with you, Centel, man. How are you going to rate? Huh?
What? Really? You're gonna start with me first? Okay. All right. Listen. I am probably gonna end up being devil's advocate this entire show. But that's just so that we can make it interesting. I did not hate the film. I did not hate it. I know a lot of people do. Even Twitter's got some choice words regarding it. But I do respect some things regarding its simplicity, the fact that it is over and done in one sitting. You don't have to worry about any spinoffs. It closes in full blown finality. You don't really see that a lot, from chapter 1 to the closeout. I liked the American dubs, to be honest. I was surprised at how good they were. I tried it out the subtitle way, and I tried it out in dubs, and dubs was actually pretty decent. I do enjoy the universe that the original creator of the comic book has created. It's just been poor execution on the live action side and And to be honest, it's a poor execution on the animated side as well. So overall, I'm going to give it a mini meal.
Okay, giving it a mini meal. I am going to jump in here real quick, and I'll start off by saying I disliked 99% of the characters on this show. When I think of villains, I don't want a story about my villains having weaknesses or a bunch of flaws or being really silly. I want my villains to be badass. Like, I want them super competent, or at the very least, their perspective makes me think, well, I know it's messed up what they do, but I kind of understand. And I didn't get that with any of our main cast and characters. I found them to be weak, incompetent, silly. And I watched it in the Japanese dub version. I watched it in the English version because I was like, maybe I'm missing something here. It just did not resonate with me at all. And there was a lot of like inconsistencies in it. I know this is a part of the Jupiter's Legacy world, and these are the villain version of it, but this didn't add anything new to any type of genre. And I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna give it a cringeworthy. All right. We got Chuck. Our co-host Chuck. He's not in today, but he did send in his rating. He didn't provide any explanation, but he gave it a mini meal, the same as Centel did. So we're gonna let you, Miss Courtney Scott Wright, come in, bat and clean up. How are you gonna rate Super Crooks?
Well, as the closeout pitcher, it's so interesting because let me just say, I too normally, as I've said before, when we've done anime, my go-to is the Japanese voice actors and then the subtitles. And I couldn't stand it. I couldn't. I was like, let me try to switch to American dub, mainly because I need to do other things and I need to be able to listen and understand without needing to focus on the screen. So maybe I'll get some more. And actually, the voice of the English dub actually did help me pay attention a little bit more. And I didn't like completely walk away from it, but I gotta be honest, I was right there with Randy, like 99%. I can't even say 99% of the characters. I hated 99% of the show. And here's my problem, because my main problem was you spent like 3 to 4 episodes trying to set up who Johnny Bolt and his crew is, and then you completely reinvent his crew. You reset his crew, you give me a whole new crew and a whole new setup, and it's almost like it's a completely different series. And I like that back half way better than the front half, because the front half lost me. I didn't care about anybody. I thought it was the first 4 episodes were just stupid. You know what I mean? I thought he was stupid. You started off with this broke ass version of Shazam that instead of him turning into like a hero, becomes a criminal after he murders everybody in the pool. Let's just start with that. I mean, you can't just electrocute everybody in the pool when people live. That's not a thing. And his little 12-year-old ass should have been in straight jail. So I had a lot of problems. And I texted the group actually and was like, this is a straight cringeworthy. But I was voting on the first half of the series because honestly, I fell asleep on this like 3 times. And it took me, I still haven't finished. I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't finished. I got 3 more episodes left to watch.
Whoa! Because the last episode is really good. The last episode is really good. It's probably one of the only redeeming qualities of.
And you can listen, and I'm going to finish it because the back half, like I said, was more interesting than the front half. And I did watch it on 1.5 speed. Thank you, Netflix, for providing the extra fast, because as watching it extra fast helped me. It legitimately helped me engage in the series, because regular speed, trash. I can't do it. And I don't usually do that. I don't usually like speed up the show. So for me, it's a snack. It's a snack. Okay. I thought the back half of the story was very interesting. I like the turn with the Praetorian. I mean, I figured he had to be. There's no way that dude was a friggin' hero. So Yeah.
Okay. So that gives us a 2.25. That's a solid snack rating that we've got so
Mm.
far. Okay. Well, we talked about it is an anime. It's based though on an American comic book series. Was
Yeah.
using anime for this, was that a good idea? Do you all thought it added any value to use a anime style?
Not really. Not in my opinion. I mean, I thought it was entertaining when I saw stuff like instead of them clearly being in Taco Bell, they were in Taco Ball. And then like there was some other place that I thought was really entertaining. Like they were clearly in a very Americanized franchise, and I can't remember what it was. But the anime didn't help me it didn't help me in any way, shape, or form. I kind of hindered it. It kind of was like a jacked up Cowboy Bebop. That's what it felt like. It really wanted to be Cowboy Bebop, and it
Yes, I agree
failed.
with that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I was waiting on you, bro.
Um, I did like the animation. It was one of the higher marks for me. I did like the style. It did heavily try to pull a lot of the tropes that Cowboy Bebop had. Even regarding like the
The main
musical
guy.
intro in that way. The main guy, he felt like the Cowboy Bebop feel. Some of the music. I did enjoy it. If the creator of the original comic was given an opportunity to have his work told on two totally different mediums than the print comic book form. He had a live action version that didn't really hit the mark. It wasn't the worst live action thing I've ever seen, but it certainly wasn't good. It was middle of the road, and he had an opportunity to express his art on a totally different medium through animation, and then he chose an anime style to go with it. I thought, like, if I'm a creator of something like that, if I was in this position, I would love to have my art displayed in as many different ways as possible. So I'm not mad at the choice, but I do think that the art was good if you're trying to pull in, because he's an American comic book writer, first
Mhm.
off. So if you're trying to put in a hardcore audience that watches anime style and trying to touch into that market, it's the same reason that Disney did Star Wars Visions. For that same reason, there is a market. I mean, there's a reason why Jujutsu Kaisen is outselling No Way Home. I mean, that market is that hardcore. I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen Zero is like the third highest grossing movie of all time in Japan. That market is real. So to take that risk and do an anime style, I think was smart. But it's just too many other things that can't hold that structure up, and you end up wasting that beautiful art.
And to me, this is just my opinion, right? We talked. You brought up Star Wars Visions, right? Star Wars
Right.
Visions, they are original stories,
Right.
specific like to that animation style. So the studio created those original stories to go with that animation style. It's not like they took a Star Wars story and then tried to make it in anime. This is an
Mm,
original Americanized style of story. And
mhm.
making it anime to me seems like you're trying to make it fit to specifically capture that audience. And
Right.
to
I
me,
agree with
it
that.
didn't, by making it an anime style. I love anime, but they
Love
have their
anime.
own original story. Like Jujutsu Kaisen, it's its own original story. It's not an
Attack
adapted
on Titan
story
is its
for
own story.
right. It's its own story. So with you having this as an original American story and you trying to do it in anime, like this nuance, and it's a reason they're in anime. They have their own storytelling style. To me, anime style didn't add any value to this story at all.
That's a
It's
great
like
point.
you were just trying to make it
You're
because you
trying to
felt, oh,
capitalize.
right. It's a popular form to do those type of things. You didn't do
Yeah.
it right. It didn't make it right. And because it's not designed to be that way. Anime is the way it is because of the style of storytelling that they do.
And
At its best.
it also for me, it wasn't just that you tried anime set in a world that looked like the 70s or 80s. So then you also edged it out. Like you also gave it a glazed over look of a period piece, from the way that the characters were dressed, from the way that they talked, from the way that they moved, like even the cars and things that they drive. Like you almost made it the period with when he created and crafted
I
these
got a
characters,
definitely
because
80s vibe. Right.
right, because the Utopian and Lady Justice and all that, they originated during like the 50s, based on
Mhm,
what we learned from the live action. And
mhm,
then this feels like it's in the 70s or 80s, as opposed
mhm.
to Jupiter's Legacy, which we watched, was present day. And this that didn't feel like it was supposed to be present day. If it was, I did not,
Yeah.
that part was lost on me, from the bell bottoms and the midriffs and the like, just the look of it, and even the look of the footage, and it looks like older. And I think they wanted you to get that essence. So there was a lot that I love. Anime, love it. Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm there. I'm so ready. But it also knows exactly where in time it is, and the characters are solid. There is comedy and humor, but the comedy and humor in Super Crooks was this slapstick kind of like
Right.
American American comedy, as opposed to missing the way that Japanese anime leans into its humor. It's part of the series, as opposed to being put upon your audience. And
Right.
that's how I felt about Super Crooks.
It felt
Um,
forced. The humor in it felt
it felt
forced.
forced, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. There's
There
some
wasn't much. I
characters.
didn't laugh. I laughed once, and I'll tell you when I laughed. But go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
Well, no, I will agree with that. There weren't any like on the floor, bust out loud outside laughing kind of jokes. But for me, in anime in general, it's very rarely that as well, is because culturally the humor style is a little bit different. So I'll give like a ha ha he, but it's very rarely I'm like rolling on the floor laughing on anime. Period. So with this, it didn't. It wasn't that. So it was kind of like on par. But there were some characters that were pretty funny regarding like the two guys whose body could absolutely be destroyed, and there were some really good bits with that, and it was some really cool ways how they went about using their superpower, something that you just wouldn't figure could be useful. They find a lot of really good use and made it funny while they were finding that use for it. So I think the humor to me was exactly on par when it comes to anime, as somebody who is a Westerner watching anime, because I know some people that are really within the anime culture and they really do roll on the floor laughing when they see the
Oh,
bead of
really?
sweat drop and somebody
I
falls
did
out
too.
and stuff
Some
like
of
that.
them.
That's I very, very rarely am I on the floor. For me, it's
I
the
mean,
action.
not. Yeah,
it's
not on
it's
the.
it's the action and the fight scenes and the stuff like that. And then to be perfectly honest with you, if you get into the roots of manga and the roots of anime, that there is some sexiness to it. And sometimes it doesn't always hit the mark. The young lady in this one didn't always hit the mark, but I can see where they were trying to go for it. I
She
may not
didn't
be the
ever
core
hit the mark.
audience. I'm probably not the core audience that they're searching for regarding is this something that I'm attracted to, but I can understand the market that they're going
Yeah.
for. Remember, they're doing this like Star Wars Vision, and that market wants to see that. They want to see that. So I
Listen,
get it. I get why they made those choices, and I get why the humor does seem more to me. The humor wasn't as American to me as it was something that might have came from Japan. It wasn't an American style humor to me, but that's just
I mean, in terms of like the sexiness, like you said, I love that you brought up the fact that their anime is generally sexy. Like
Mhm.
Goju in Jujutsu Kaisen, he's not even trying to be sexy. He just is. Like that character. Listen, real pretty. Even like adult Eren in like Attack on Titan. Yeah, he's real pretty with his little man bun. I don't even like man buns. This, the sexy was put on. It was just so in your face. It wasn't like I was being moved to the sexiness. It's that the creator decided this is supposed to be sexy. You're supposed to be sexy here. And that to me was a turnoff, because I was so uninterested in the forced
The
And I was like,
beginning scenes, yeah, the beginning come on like the introduction with the dancing and everything. I was like, what are we doing?
although her dancing was pretty solid, I was like,
I,
somebody did some
I was
mocap
annoyed. I was
because
like, she better put some butt pads in or something. They got her turned all around. I was like, you don't get this flat booty off the screen, man.
No, I feel you. No, I
No,
feel
I
you.
wasn't looking at
I
her
feel you,
body. I was looking
but
at her moves. Her moves look like somebody actually did those moves. Like
yeah,
that
I
was to
think
me.
somebody put the bulbs on somebody and
Mhm.
actually had him dance because it looked very convincing. But I'm with you. But what I'm saying is this movie, even though it was written by an American and probably came up with the concept was Western, this we are not the target market. I think, and I think that's where that's like a big miss because if you watch especially old anime, that intro is par for the course. That's
Yeah.
how
For
that's how
old,
early
that's why I'm saying it was supposed to be a
it's par
period
for the
piece
course.
because that is
And
par for the course.
and the way that she's portrayed is kind of par for the. If anything, she was probably a little bit more empowered than early 80s style anime. So I think that it's a cultural disconnect. It's a cultural disconnect from what the Western viewpoint of what they wanted the envision of this project to be to how it was portrayed by the people that actually did it. And it's a cultural disconnect for the people that are confused because they see, especially if you watch the original live action Jupiter Ascending, you're going to be thinking one thing and then you're seeing an art style and a way of storytelling that's vastly different.
Jupiter's Legacy.
It was a ballsy attempt by the creators of this, and I think a lot of that is just that disconnect. The product itself,
the pilot, the pilot. Like, what did you think about the pilot?
Well, at first, and I didn't know what to expect with this series at all. But like they had him being like super, super nerdy. And I was just like, is that where we starting off? And then when they were at the pool, I was like, electricity, a pool.
Water.
This is not going to end
clearly
well.
Dumb children who didn't.
Yeah, right. And so I actually thought what was going to happen was I thought he was going to kill up a bunch of people and he was going to go to jail. I thought he was going to go to jail, and then that was what was going to lead him down the life of being a criminal. But it was no, he was like, I feel bad. And then he figures out like the ATM and he can get money. He was like, this is how I'll survive. And then the next thing we see him getting out of prison. I was like, oh, this.
Yeah,
his motivation was pretty weak. The motivation to be mad
was completely. It didn't come from anywhere. It wasn't rooted or grounded.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was like bootleg Shazam. That was frame for frame, freaking Shazam. Right down to him like recording his powers and trying to figure out how to do it. His little sad costume, like the whole thing. Yeah, it was just frame for frame, and I was like, okay, I get you pulled this from a comic book that was clearly written around the same, you know what I mean, at a certain time, and I get it, but I would rather you have just started out with him being a crook, because I was like, if you don't get to some crooking right now, I don't understand why you calling like super crooks. I don't care about these children.
Well, you gotta have a really kind of decent origin, and more than likely it could probably be digested a lot easier if you're reading it in comic form, but in order to do service to the original content they decided to include it. That's what I'm guessing. But here's my thing. I think that we would probably be seeing this a lot differently had we not already been introduced to larger, more popular, successful products like The Boys and like Invincible, who really just nail it. Like they nail it. In many cases do better than the original source material. So now that we're here with this origin story regarding Super Crooks, it's the shock value isn't as high. The motivation behind it is kind of been worn out. I think if this was before any of those other ones, we probably feel differently about it. But because it's third, fourth, maybe even fifth in line regarding this style of storytelling, there's nothing that can keep you like really going with it.
And I actually think that I read the origin story. They made it up for the show. Like the show, I believe, picks up later on, like him as an adult. And they created the origin story. The comic picks up later him as an adult. They created the origin story specifically for the show to provide.
Yeah, and I didn't need that.
And I didn't need it either.
You could have just started with him in prison, getting out of prison. You really could have started it right there. Because that whole backstory, none of those characters, and you guys tell me, because again, I didn't finish the last 3 episodes, which I'm totally gonna finish on 1.5 speed. But you tell me, does any of those characters come back? Did I need to know that his mom was like the typical low budget mom,
You
which
don't
was
need to
like
know about
really
them.
offensive,
You don't
that
need to know
doesn't
about
really
the
care
mom.
about her son and is just trying to hook up, and you know what I mean? Like, I just,
Yeah, you don't need to know about the mom. She's done. You're not gonna ever see her again.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like his little
But his
friend,
friends, yeah, they do.
his
Uh,
little, his no,
Yeah.
yeah,
his little
he
high
has a
school
role.
friend
One of
comes
them
back?
pops back up. Yeah,
Yeah,
one
he
of them pops
pops
back up.
back in.
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't like him, and this just might be me. Okay, Casey comes and picks him up from jail. He's
Mhm.
been locked up for a little bit. You know, they kissing, they about to get it on, and they come in and they see all the crooks that broke into the house. I'm like, if you don't tell these dudes to get up out of here because you got handsome business with your girl, I will catch up with
who's
you later.
naked. She already naked. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
I'm
You
like,
got the pornomate on. You got the pornomate
exactly.
going, and they just chilling.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, fam, it's good to see you, but y'all got to come back later because I've been, you know, I done did some time, and I need to, you know, me and Casey need to get it in. I was like, I don't like this already because this is not how somebody go act when they just get out of jail. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
his biggest flaw regarding there's only really 2 characters in the whole show, and it's her. It's Casey and Lightning Dude. But the thing that they're trying to establish, what I get, is that he never puts her first ever. And you see it like as soon as he gets out of prison. He can't even put her first when she gets out. And that is the mantra that happens over and over and over
Yeah,
again.
and
He
she keeps
never
having to
puts her
save
first.
him. And she
Yeah.
keeps having to come and save him and get him out, you know, like him promising, oh, I'm not going to do it. Cut to him doing exactly what said he's not going to do. And then that carrying over into like 3 episodes. Like, did I need that first heist to be 3 episodes? Like, I mean, not 3, maybe it was 2. It was like 2.5. And I'm like,
So let's
I
talk about
need
Casey.
that.
What do you guys think of her as a character? I like her. I liked her at the beginning. Then there's a part towards the end where I was like, I don't get it, why she would make that decision. Like, I didn't get why she, after the heist failed, she went back to waitress. I didn't get that. I'm like, she's sitting on Charles Xavier type powers, and she couldn't have figured out something else, right? I just thought she would have, like, you can literally, she says that one of her professors tried to sexually harass. I'm like, you can put a thought in his mind and make him pass you, right? You can do so many things. You can hook up with a guy
about you.
Right. You can hook up with a guy and have him go give you $1 million. Like, it's so many things that you could do. But it was like when Johnny went away at that point, when she was the brains behind everything, she was telling him, like, you're thinking small. You need to think bigger. There's a better syndicate out there. There's different ways. But it was like when he got locked up again, she just fell to pieces. And I thought that was I thought that wasn't consistent with who we had saw for most of this series. Because she was
So
actually
he does get locked up again. I thought he was gonna get locked up again.
Does he?
For how long? You can spoil it.
No, it's like 5 years the next go around.
Yeah,
It's like 5 years.
So it's so stupid what happens. But go ahead, Centel.
Well, I think for me, her power and the power of the really super bad guy, really evil dude, they're one and the same people. They're
right.
Yeah, they're 2 sides of the same coin, power-wise. The only difference is that he is a sociopath. He absolutely cares for nothing, has no emotional attachment for anything, and he convolutes himself into thinking that he feels for art, something that can't love you back, something that's inanimate, and he's using that as an excuse to kind of like wield his way back to humanity. On the flip side of that coin, we have Casey, and she is the exact polar opposite. All she cares about is people. All she cares about is her man. And her love for humanity and her love for him is her downfall. That's like, she has this crazy power. They have the same power for the most part. They pretty much have the same power.
That dude can blow up people's heads.
She can
too.
You find this out in the last couple episodes.
Yeah, there's another
episode. His power to blow up people's head is his psychic ability.
Right. And he does it because he can.
Right.
She stopped doing it because she realized
Yeah, I saw her breaking people apart.
Yeah, that she's worthy to be loved, worthy to not be stuck in that spot. So you have to, from a writing standpoint, you have to do both like really big extremes in order for that juxtaposition to like really work. He's really bad, he's a really fucked up dude, and she's really gullible because she thinks completely with her heart. So that's why I think she was written like that.
Can I say though, I was so happy when he showed up in like episode 7. I was like, a real villain. Like a real,
finally a real
villain.
One. Yes.
When he like, oh, it's called Super Crooks. We got when he says, shoot the first person who stops clapping, I was like, yes.
And then he's like,
real villain.
And then he accidentally killed the wrong guard.
Right.
He was like, oh, I meant to kill the other one.
Yeah.
And was indifferent, like,
right.
You know, it's funny.
Yeah,
it reminded me a lot of. He reminds me a lot of in Daredevil, and we get a chance to look at the Kingpin, and the only time he can get in touch with this humanity is looking at this painting. It's the only thing that can really like connect him, and I felt that with this character in Super Crooks. He kept referring back to this painting over and over again because it's the only way that he can like really connect with anything, because he's fucked up.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Kingpin was
he was like, yeah, he was half Kingpin, half Tony Soprano, because he did have a business element. That was the one thing that I liked, that he was literally unionizing fucking criminals.
Yeah,
and then he was like,
that was cool.
That was a clever way to do it, a clever way to take the whole criminal enterprise and actually make it have a big boss and make everybody work for you. Like, I thought that was pretty dope. I hadn't seen that before. Usually every villain is out for themselves.
Well, see, they talk about that later on in the episode, because there was another crew that he was a part of, and they tried the same thing. And it was like,
fell apart.
Right, it fell apart because we kept on fighting each other, but he was able to rally everybody.
Yep, yeah, that's what started had him do it. Go ahead.
Well, no, the one thing that always like that never really dawned on me until this series, probably because the series is called Super Crooks. You just got out of prison. Legitimately just got out of prison. You wearing the same outfit that you wore that got you in prison. So clearly they know that that's Johnny Bolt. So every time you go in to a new job in that outfit, it's Johnny Bolt. So you're literally going in with your friggin' name on your like it's clearly you. Like, you don't even try to like black mask, just it could be anybody. Like, no, it's you and your friends.
I think that was intentional because it's another element of his incompetence, because after he comes out from doing the 5-year bid, he's changed up the look. He looks different and everything. I think that was just another way, like, show this dumbass guy right here. Yeah.
The Praetorian, I thought, was a good villain too.
The Praetorian,
with the cards and him picking out his
power.
It's like he didn't know what his power was gonna be.
And he had over 200 of them. I've never seen that before. Have you all ever seen that with somebody? Like, they literally don't know. Right.
No, he's Sylar. He's Sylar from Heroes.
From Heroes. That's what I was trying to figure it out.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yes. Every single time he meets somebody new, he acquires their power. It's a new power. And that's what he develops a resistance to that person's power. So that he can create a resistance to it. And I was like, he's basically Sylar, except he's not a serial killer. He doesn't need to cut their heads open and take their ability.
I don't know, but is he not? He could.
He is a serial killer. Don't get me wrong. Like, when he was in the headquarters and just killing folks, just like, he didn't even care. Oh, I got laser eyes. He took out all the tourists. They all died.
Yeah.
I'm like, the Union Master not know that or whatever. You tell.
Well, everybody was gone.
What's he called?
Everybody was.
Yeah, everybody had left. Yeah, everybody had left.
Utopian and all them. They were in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, because of the zombie.
They were in Pennsylvania trying to stop the zombie attack.
Yeah.
But he was on. There was a kid with his cell phone recording everything, and he didn't die. That shit should have been on TV.
Are you gonna turn that in? If you just see a dude lay out a whole room, you're gonna be like, look, I got a video of the Praetorian killing everybody.
That's a good
Parents, if
point.
they lived, they was like, boy,
Valid
pick that
point.
shit up. Throw that shit away.
I I enjoyed the tiers of power, and they're really drawn out really well. And one tier is even the power of just groupthink regarding the bad guys coalition. They were very powerful. You didn't really want to go against them because the ultimate of all the badasses would kill you with a simple thought. And then on the other side, you have the good guys, and they are so OP. They're so overpowered that nobody can really stop them whatsoever. And then you have the other guys, and that's what the story is about. Are the other guys, because their powers are okay, more nothing that you really need to work with, but the chance that they're taking on themselves, they're betting on themselves because they're not paying the 30% tax. They can't be good, and they certainly don't have the moral goodness to become good guys. So I did like that because they were literally stuck between a rock and a hard place, and nobody had enough power to make a decision to go either way. You could either be like the sheep, or you can be destroyed by the good guys. And if you defy the sheep, you end up get destroyed by the bad guys. It was bad for them all the way around. I did like that part. Like the stakes were really high.
Yeah, I just didn't like how incompetent they were. Like
But
the Praetorian,
until like episode 9.
yeah,
That's
like the
problem.
Praetorian even said, he was like, "Do you guys really think we keep the mask on display for the whole public to see? Like, how did they not know that? Like, it's like, what are we doing
you really
here?
should have done your research.
It's like,
exactly right.
In the basement.
It's in the vault,
That was
right?
funny.
But they're not good. That's the thing. And here's the real rub. They're so bad that their main leader doesn't even have powers himself. He's a regular dude.
He's an old ass dude.
Like he was literally like just created his own fire, and yet he calls himself the He. He just, you don't have any actual power.
No powers, and that's their leader. Like, that's how bad their situation is, and they still try to kind of make it work with a bunch of, what was it, the Replacements? Is that the name of that Keanu Reeves movie?
I just need my villain.
Just the bums.
Man.
I was thinking,
my
I understand why Casey would go back to waitressing, because number one, she wants to lay low. She always never wanted to be in the limelight. She was the cool person that would like, okay, let me weigh in. What are the pros and cons of this job? Do I want to do this? Because I'm not trying to go to jail. You know what I mean? And like, I'm not trying to do something that's going to get me, locked up. I agree with you on the whole professor thing, because she did say she wanted to get her MBA, and the finding out that she doesn't do it, like, okay, cool. But I do understand her wanting to lay low in a mundane job. Waitressing, I wouldn't have done that. But I understand the mentality of like, I want to just fly below radar.
I just thought she had a lot to offer, and like she didn't do what she wanted to do. And like it's not about the waitress, and it's just like she didn't do what she wanted to do. She wanted to be the NBA, and then she was like, I can't even put a crew together. I just would have thought she would have did something more in line with her interests. And it seemed like when Johnny went to jail, it fell apart for her. And I was like, you don't really need him.
Yeah.
She's terrified of herself because before she found her mentor to pull her out of the depths, if she didn't like you, she'd blow your head up. Like, she was running with Cruz. She's like, I don't like you, I'm gonna just kill you. Like, she was going down the dark side. So she doesn't trust herself. And the safest thing for her to do in her eyes is probably, low key, I'm gonna just go ahead and be a waitress, because I'm sure in her head, she probably battles with that. Like, if I really want to just make shit pop off, I can. I absolutely can, because she's arguably either number one or tied for number one as one of the more powerful people in this universe, but she chooses, it's a choice to not go that route. But make no mistake, she absolutely can. But what's the cost?
We get to see her power on full display in the last episode. The last episode, mind control. She even outmaneuvers the bastard, right? She creates a world that he thinks is real. And she's doing that simultaneously by like being drugged and him trying to blow up her mind. And like she's multitasking her ass off. I'm like, geez, like,
That was the one moment that I laughed out loud when she put the gladiator in the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, man.
I laughed all the way out loud.
That was fun. That was funny.
I was like, wait a minute. Is that the damn little bird fucking clown with his little scratches? And I was like, oh no. And I was like, that's Casey. She's fucking with him. That's hilarious.
You got it. See, I didn't get it. I was scratching my head because I'm a little annoyed at this series at that point. I'm like, what, like, why are we giving like Little Mermaid? And then when Casey said, I was like, oh, that's dope. That's dope.
Oh man, I thought that was hilarious. He thinks he can be the savior. Yeah, I'll help you save the fish world. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Just gone. All the way gone.
So good. It was so good. I laughed
that was
out
hilarious.
loud on that moment.
Hold on. I did. Can I? My really funny part. Like at the very end. So in case this is a bit of a ruiner, but it doesn't matter. We're here now. So so they end up getting the gladiator to come on the team, right?
Yeah, I read ahead. I saw that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they blackmail him, but the gladiator is still a hero. He is still a hero through and through. So he's along for the ride, but he ain't finna do no villainry. So he's just sitting there, just like, y'all do whatever it is you got to do. I'm here for one thing, and that is to right this wrong. That is the I keep on to come to
Praetorian.
The Praetorian. So they get to the end, right? And my man, and the Praetorian is sitting there, and my man, the electric dude, Johnny, whatever his name is, he's like, yeah, he's like, he's talking cash shit. He's like, yeah, man, we got my man here. He about to bust you up. He's like, yeah, come get him. You look like, back, my man's like, nah. Yo, and the Praetorian starts putting hands on people.
All of them.
Hands, whooping them. Yeah. The gladiator's just sitting back, just watching the whole time. He's like, I'm gonna wait until I get my fill first. I was on the floor. I was like, that is a dude that is maintaining his character and his moral standard. And then after they're all laid out, like whooped. Yeah. Then he's like, okay, now I'm gonna try and do something. I thought that was great. I was like, they maintained his integrity.
That was fun. Well, the last two episodes I thought really kind of pulled it up from just being a total shit show for me.
Agree. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I mean, that episode with when they ransacked the Hall of Justice, that's when it started for me. The problem is that was episode 9. That was episode 9 and shit popped off. You know what I mean? I'm like, I have suffered through 8 other episodes. I mean, 8 was pretty solid because that's when they had to break out TK, because I thought that was really clever that, you know, he threatened the pilots in order to get the information from them in order to, like, you gonna give me this code or y'all gonna die. Like that's just where we at. You know what I mean? And I so that's when it literally, the last 10 minutes, not even 10, the last 5 minutes of the episode, shit was like, it became interesting. I was like, okay, this is a little bit interesting. Yeah. And then episode 9 to the end. But for me to get to 7 3/4 episodes and now you're interesting.
Yeah. Like I said, the last 2 were, and the one before that was, I got into it too, but it was just like, why do we have to, like Courtney said, why do we have to wait so long before, you know, it got interesting? And I think a lot of it was they just made up that backstory. I don't understand why they did that. Netflix owns this property. They own the Miller world. So maybe they're just trying to recoup their investments out of there, because this one just did not stick any landings to me. I was really touched by that. So we talked about the Praetorian, the gladiator. Well, let's talk about, I guess, Johnny Bolt in some details. What do you guys? How do you guys feel about Johnny Bolt?
I think Johnny Bolt is a necessary character in order to justify Casey's existence. Him by himself in his own space, he's annoying. He's pointless, and you just like get it together, and then by the time you get it together, like you all said, it's super late, and you don't want to invest in him because he's pissed you off and annoyed you for 7 straight episodes. But when I see it through the lens of Casey needs that in order to move her story along,
and we need Casey to like him, because we've got to have a reason to cheer for this guy. Like maybe he'll get his shit together and do right by Casey. Maybe.
Right. Maybe.
They did. Courtney's like, no, I'm not seeing it.
I'm sorry. No, he was useless. And you know me. I love loving on my little lead anime hero dude. And I was like, I don't like you. I have more feelings about the Praetorian than about you. And you're the hero. I was more invested in the Praetorian and Gladiator than I was in the hero, even though he's the villain. Like he's the villain, but he's our lead.
Yeah, he's
I'm
our
supposed
lead.
to be
He's definitely the
rooting for
lead.
you, and I don't care. You're stupid.
He is stupid.
Yeah,
he's definitely stupid.
You may,
at least
after he comes out of jail, he's different. I don't know what the change was that happened in jail, but he seems different when he gets out of jail. He's shaved and he's wearing a blazer, and he actually develops an actual plan. It's like been researched and things like that. Because one of the things that I thought
he has
was
his
cool,
Ocean's 11 moment. The
last two episodes remind me of Ocean's 11. It really does.
Yeah,
it's a heist. It's a heist movie at that point, and that's what I thought. It really pulled it up from being the plane up from being a shit show. And I thought that one scene where the guys who can rejuvenate their body part, when they're going through the lasers and they're being ripped to pieces, like they're just like it's a part. It's a tunnel that they've got to go through. And what it is if it's not the bastard's DNA, lasers will come through and just cut you all to pieces, where their body rejuvenates. And these two idiots are arguing with each other. So they're running and they're literally being chopped to pieces, cut up. As soon as they rejuvenate, they're trying to outdo each other and keep on going. And they're just and after 4 minutes in, even the super, they're like, this is kind of gruesome. Like, this is funny. I didn't expect
blood everywhere.
Be this bad. Like, the floor is just puddles of blood. And once he's like, oh, your liver, man, you need to take care of yourself better because that's starting to look bad, right? He literally says it. And they're just still fighting because they're determined one of them's to beat the other one to hit the button to deactivate the lasers. It's hilarious.
That was funny.
Yeah, the last two of those. So,
yeah, but that's
but
no, I was just going to say
between them.
Yeah, I was just going to say they did some interesting things with that character because I'm like, how do you make this character relevant with this power? Excuse me, how do you make this power relevant? And they found great ways to make it relevant throughout the entire series with those two brothers that could regenerate.
Yeah, that was interesting, but he didn't have nothing for the Praetorian because the Praetorian laid his ass out as well. The Praetorian was, and that was such a great scene between the Praetorian and the Guardian. I thought that was great between those two. They had a final fight scene between those two, and it was what you thought it would be.
The Guardian or the Gladiator?
The Gladiator. Yeah, the Gladiator.
Yeah, he let him know that there's levels to this too, and he's like, "Listen, I'm the real deal. I need you to understand this. I'm the real deal. You're all right, and I'm gonna show you just how real I am." I loved that. I was like, "Yes." Whoop his ass.
He put the hands on him.
Full blown ass on him, man.
Yeah,
oh, man.
No.
You blackmail one of the most powerful people in the damn world. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I just said it was interesting too that, and it's in the comics too, they made him being blackmailed because he was gay.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, I liked it. It was like, so what? Who cares, right? He's a superhero. He's a badass superhero. Why is that even pertinent to his role and his trajectory? So I thought that was a cool moment. I'm not sure if that's in the comic or not, but I thought that was a real cool moment for inclusion.
What did you all think about just some of the side characters in general? Because there was a lot of them with a lot of interesting interesting powers. You had the black dude that can make the sun, that can control the weather. He was like Storm.
Oh, I liked him. I liked Forecast.
Forecast. That's his name. Yep.
Forecast. You had a Ghost who could dematerialize.
He was like half Katie. He was like half Katie Pride, half Kitty Pride, half Sue Storm, Invisible Girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I was like, okay, I'm all right with you.
And he was smart. He should have been the leader over Johnny. He should have been the leader over Johnny.
I thought she was gonna leave Johnny for Ghost because he walking around in his suit looking like Dapper Don. Like, you better go ahead and go with that guy.
Yeah, and he looked like he knew what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? Johnny just like, like, oh, that's out somewhere.
You had
the other guy. Let's see, the other guys.
I'm trying to think
his first dumb crew. I thought they were just dumb. I didn't have.
Well, they were, and then like, okay, I don't know. As a young man, I have been around some circles with some unsavory people at times regarding intelligence and just making life choices. And you're young and you're stupid and you don't see the forest for the trees and you make dumb decisions because as a young man, right? I've fallen victim to that. So for them to kind of write that with Johnny's path, like his friends may mean well, but it's not the good kind of mean well. You know, they're still getting you into dirt and they don't think things out. So I thought that was kind of interesting too, because it really shows a lot of growth with his character arc. He does have a pretty interesting character arc because
Johnny has a character arc.
Yeah,
he has a character arc.
And those idiots who are his friends, and they do love him. They do. They're just wrong for him, and he just can't.
They just don't have the ambition or the brain bandwidth to do better. That's the extent of their capacity.
Yeah, because the reason he got locked up again was ridiculous. You get locked up at a bookstore.
Boxes might as well. That's what got you 5 years.
5 years for like you're literally robbing ATMs and getting away with it. You pass jewelry stores and things. You break into a bookstore and that's what gets you hemmed up. Yeah, fam, you need new friends.
And once again, he's doing it for a good intention, but he's an idiot.
Yeah,
you know,
like with all the money you were getting from those ATMs, you could have bought her a whole library full of NBA books. Like, what are we doing here, man?
Stupid, just dumb. You're like, this dude just cannot make any right decisions at all.
At that point, I was like, I'm done. Like, there's no redemption. And Centel, you are correct. I think Johnny did have a real arc, but I would have liked to see what sparked it, because after prison, he was different. I don't know what happened when he was on the inside to initiate that kind of change.
I think she cut him off completely, like all the way completely. You know, you hear from him 5 years of just like full blown nothing. And he was legitimately going to do something that was going to help him out. Like legitimate, like marrying her would have been a good thing for him.
Yeah, it would have been.
You know, and he really did squander it. Like, so, and you know, you're just 5 years wiser.
Yeah. Casey was good for Johnny. She was one of the characters that I really liked.
Did they get back together?
Yep.
Yeah.
They do. Gotta watch it. Yep.
All right, I'm gonna watch. Like I said, I'm gonna watch.
I mean, she gives some grief though. It ain't an easy road.
Yeah,
like,
no.
I mean, he earns it.
yeah, he earns it. And
yeah,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, in hindsight, now I'm really sitting here thinking about it. I really think this was really Casey's story. This is Casey's story more so than it is Johnny. It's just we're just introduced to Casey through Johnny, but this is Casey's story.
I could have used more screen time of Casey than Johnny, because Johnny, he annoyed me. I swear. I know I keep saying it, but he annoyed me. And that whole crew. All right. Any other points you guys want to touch on?
Read the comic. I did get a chance to read Jupiter's Sending. It's different than the live action. Excuse me, okay. Jupiter's Legacy, and it's good.
Keep calling Jupiter's Sending.
I know. I keep thinking of that terrible movie that was made. Anyways, it's worth it, and of course, you know, you want to support artists, creative artists. So if you can buy the comic, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, and you can understand the missed opportunity that Netflix did regarding the live action, and potentially this is a comic series as well. I haven't read Super Crooks, but it seems to be a missed opportunity again. It didn't stick the landing. It just didn't. But I'd imagine it would be good. The comic is probably excellent.
Yeah, I just thought with Jupiter's Legacy, we had The Boys and we had Invincible, and those set the bar so high, high, right? And then you came with Jupiter's Legacy. It was kind of like, well, I mean, it's not bad. It's just like, okay, because you know we've had these two prime examples of kind of like this I don't know, going to file superhero type of genre, and they did it at such high levels. Then when Jupiter's Legacy came in, it was like you didn't add anything, that was better or anything. So if you would have come out first, maybe I
That's
could
what
have
I'm saying.
gotten into it. Like I would have liked it more. And then it would have set me up for Invincible and and The Boys. But with you coming third, like, nah, fam.
Yeah. I'm almost certain that it would have been successful had it come out before The Boys. I'm almost certain.
Yeah.
Because it's not terrible. It's
not
just,
terrible.
I mean, it's like right after The Boys. The Boys had just finished like season 2, and everybody's all like coked up on The Boys. And then here's this, and it's not that.
Everything is casting. Everything is casting. And I listen, I like Josh Duhamel, and he played the Utopian. I like him in the right role. I don't think he was right for that role. I don't think that the people like what's her name? Leslie Bibb. Leslie Bibb, I like her as an actor. I don't think she was right for Lady Justice. There were a lot of like just
I see that
certain caliber of acting that, and they're good actors. It's just there's Josh Duhamel and Leslie Bibb are known for like comedy. So I'm looking at them in scenes that are supposed to be serious, and they was comedic for me. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't supposed to be funny. They weren't supposed to look funny. They were supposed to be serious, and the level of seriousness wasn't there.
Yeah, even in the suit design.
Homelander. Homelander is the truth. You know what I mean?
Homelander's the truth,
right? Yeah, because I love hating him.
You love hating him. But even Huey gets on your nerves, and then Butcher gets on your nerves, but they are so invested and committed in the roles that they are playing. Everybody comes heavy. Even like what's his name? Chance Crawford, who plays the Deep. And admittedly, he is the funniest fucking character in it, but he is the truth. He slays. Do you know what I mean? It's like, this is the story you want to tell. You got to come with it, and don't just cast people because they have a name.
Yeah.
Who is the right actor for the role? And right now, there's a lot of shows that are falling short because you're casting based on a name as opposed to the character. Is this the right actor for the character?
And speaking like of the actor, like for the Utopian, Josh, what's his name, Courtney? Josh, what's his last name?
Duhamel.
Josh Duhamel. The suit for Utopian is like a muscle suit. He didn't even commit to getting into shape for the role.
It looks terrible on him. It looks horrible.
Yeah, like, come on, you gonna be a superhero.
It looked like the first Shazam movie. That first Shazam suit is terrible. Yeah, and you're like, you ain't even try to lift at all.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, come on. If you can't commit, just turn it down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, fam. You wearing a muscle suit?
Like, I mean, it just even his Santa Claus beard and like the terrible hair, like all of it, like it just didn't. It didn't seem like they believed the world that they were trying to sell to the audience. And if you don't believe the world you're selling, why should I believe it?
Right. I can't argue with you there. All right, guys, we're gonna get in here and we're gonna re-rate this. So we started with Centel last time. Courtney, we're gonna start with you. How are you gonna re-rate, or how are you going to rate again? What do we watch? The Super Crooks. Super Crooks. That's what
Super
it is.
Crooks. I mean, I'm gonna stay at a snack. I may revise my, I'll drop it in Instagram or somewhere, or next week if I revise when I finish these last 3 episodes, and it might jump up to the mini meal based on the last 3 episodes. But as of what I saw, my main problem is it took too long for you to get into an actual story. The end of episode 8 is not good enough. Episode 8 into episode 9 for like the last 5 episodes to be solid. That's a snack. Because generally I give an episode 3. I give a series 3 episodes. If you don't hook me, I'm out. So yeah, I'm staying with my snack.
Okay. And I mean, we highlighted some good points in here and some humor and things like that, but it ain't enough to lift my rating. I don't want to watch this again. And if they had a season two, I don't want to watch season two because I don't care. I really don't. It just, and I get it now. They would have made, they kind of ended it. They kind of closed it out. And I think the comic run only had like 4 issues for the run of the series. So it had a 4 issue run. I don't think they're going to go more deeper into this world. I haven't heard a lot of buzz about it on social media. I didn't enjoy it. I just didn't. It fell flat to me. So I'm gonna stick at my cringeworthy rating.
I forgot you gave it a cringeworthy.
Yeah, I gave it cringeworthy. Even though I did like the last 2 episodes, it wasn't enough to pull it up. It just stopped it from being a complete shit show. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I figured it's going a certain place. That's why it's not a cringeworthy for me. So that's for me to say a snack is a step up. I'm banking on these last 3 episodes to bring it home for my snack.
Okay. And I don't want to oversell it, so I'm not gonna say if it's good or bad anymore. Because I'm gonna be like, the last 2 are good, and then Courtney gonna be in the chat like the last 2 was some old bullshit. It's some old bullshit. I oversold it, right?
No. Listen,
people do that to me all the time. People oversell stuff to me all the time. They're like, "Oh, it's great," and then I watch it, and I'm like,
okay. Yeah, I don't know if you watched the episode 5 of Boba Fett, and I'm not gonna spoil anything, guys. I'm not gonna spoil anything. Okay.
Yes.
But for me, like, it was a solid episode. But it was a solid episode of another show.
That's what I said. I was like, it's good for interesting reasons. I was like,
it's a solid episode for another show that is not the show I was supposed to be watching.
Yeah. So and it's the best show of the series.
It is. There's nothing to do with the series. And that's the problem, which is also the problem with Super Crooks, because it took forever to get to what your actual show is about. And the actual show is the problem with the bastard, the Praetorian, and the battle to break up this monopoly that he's creating.
Yeah.
That doesn't come into episode 8. So, yeah.
All right.
Go ahead, Cynthia. Bring us home.
Bro, how you gonna rate it?
Okay, so I didn't hate it. I'm still sticking with the original score. It's interesting because, you know, I'm a fan of the Twitterverse, and it's a very big love-hate kind of relationship. I think it's doing well overseas, so I think the gamble may have worked. I mean, it's getting rave reviews, Rotten Tomatoes. Its average tomato meter is like 100%. The audience score is an 81% on IMDb. It's like a 7.2, which is really good for IMDb. Anything over 7 is very good on IMDb. So it has an audience. It does have an audience. I just don't know if that audience is me, or in the grander scope, I don't know if that audience is us. But it is written for somebody.
Cowboy Bebop. It's all the people that hate live action Cowboy Bebop and just happy to have something that's similar. That's who it is.
And also fan service. Fanboys are a very real thing. And this is a legendary comic book writer who's absolutely beloved, Mark Miller. So that probably carries a lot of weight to go along with that score as well, because you don't want to, you know, openly hate on somebody that you admire for working on another different type of project. I'm maintaining my score. I'll never watch it again. I do appreciate it as a one-off.
So much. But it's just the delivery. I am maintaining my score, but I'll never watch it again.
Yeah, never. Yeah, I think they were to me. It was Icarus. They tried to go to the sun, and their wings fell apart. But you know, an E for effort.
So that's gonna get us still at a 2.25 because we all maintained our original scores, and that's gonna be at a snack. That's how we coming in at it. All right.
Yeah, I'm just sad that I kept falling asleep on it. And
see, all them times you fell asleep, you might even finished it. You know, it put you down all the time.
Yeah. And I love, don't get me wrong, friends. Y'all know I love my anime. I love my anime.
Oh, nobody's down your gangster. No,
I'm just saying, like, I felt bad. I felt like I dropped. I felt like I failed the mission. You know what I mean? I've only failed the mission one other time. and it was another series I hated. I fell asleep on. I even finished Yasuke, and I hated that. But I digress.
All right. So
Mhm.
we're gonna get ready to head out of here. Courtney, got any parting words for us before we head out?
Good luck and good night. Stay strong.
Chantel, bro, you got any parting words before we head out?
Yo, low-key Peacemaker is fun as hell.
Okay.
Oh
I'm
yeah, we get a
hoping
new
maybe-
episode next week, right? Or
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah.
New episode tomorrow.
I'm
Nice.
hoping we could possibly do a review. If it maintains its funny. If it maintains its funny, it could all go to pieces for all I know.
Oh,
But
I
as
think
of
we're
right now-
gonna do it. Yeah, just like
Yeah.
we're gonna do.
We're definitely
Boba
gonna do
Fett.
Peacemaker, right? Yeah, we're definitely gonna do that.
Yeah, Boba Fett.
What's
We're gonna
next
pray
week's
for
show?
Boba Fett.
We're doing Kung Fu next week.
Oh yes.
We're gonna do Kung Fu. All right. So, Benjis, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. This concludes our show. As always, shouts out to Digital Click. They provide all the beautiful artwork and things that we have and keep us looking pristine and pretty and clean so that we can come here and perform at our best. If you are watching this, I'm going to need you to hit that on YouTube. If you're watching it on YouTube, I'm going to need you to hit that subscribe button. Just, don't take a lot of effort. Just click on it. And also, if you're watching it on Facebook or Twitter, hit the like button as well, because the Geekish Network, we are an organization that is trying to bring stories and feedback and evaluations for people who are underrepresented. That means Black people, that means Asian people, that means Latino people, gay people, people of different persuasions and out there. We are about diversity and inclusion. So please support us because we're doing this for you. With that being said, we're going to be doing Kung Fu next week. So if you want to follow along with us, and we'll be right back here at the same back time, same back channel. As always, Benjis, it is a pleasure. Peace out.